Oliver Bearman has just hinted publicly that he's being considered for the 2027 Ferrari seat right after Lewis Hamilton's expected exit. Despite proving himself in every junior category and stepping up flawlessly as a stand-in in 2024, Bearman has waited patiently in the background while Ferrari's long-term plan remained unclear. With Hamilton possibly finishing his career after 2026, Ferrari must decide, double down on experience or finally bet on a homegrown star with elite composure and youth. If Bearman steps into that red seat, it won't just be a promotion, it will be a passing of the torch between generations of British excellence in Formula One. Oliver Bearman has done something few young drivers dare to do: speak publicly about the biggest opportunity of his career before it even arrives. With calm confidence, he's now confirmed the rumors. Ferrari's long-term plan includes him. And with Lewis Hamilton potentially stepping away after 2026, the door is opening for Bearman to become the next driver in red. Not as a reserve, not as a stand-in, as a full-time Scuderia pilot. For Bearman, this isn't hype. It's strategy. He's not chasing headlines, he's laying foundations. In 2024, he stepped into Carlos Sainz's car with zero notice and delivered one of the most composed debuts of the modern era. His drive in Saudi Arabia wasn't flashy, it was flawless. No mistakes. No panic. Just pace, precision, and maturity well beyond his years. Since then, Ferrari has kept him close. And now, with contract cycles shifting and long-term planning in motion, the 2027 seat is becoming more than a rumor. It's a roadmap. But this isn't just about Bearman's talent. It's also about Lewis Hamilton's timeline. At 42 by the end of 2026, Hamilton remains a 7-time world champion and global icon. His presence at Ferrari in 2025 and 2026 will bring immense value on track and off. But even legends don't race forever. Internally, Ferrari is preparing for that reality. And Bearman, quietly developing in the shadows, is positioning himself not just as a successor but as a continuation of British greatness inside the most historic team in Formula One. The transition, if it happens, would be symbolic. Hamilton brought Ferrari leadership, development direction, and emotional gravity. Bearman would bring energy, youth, and the adaptability to grow through the next regulation cycle. It wouldn't be a replacement, it would be a baton pass. A handover from one of the greatest drivers in history to one of the most promising young talents on the grid. And for Ferrari, that's not just good PR, it's a statement of intent. For fans in the UK, the moment carries even more weight. Hamilton at Ferrari was already historic. Bearman following that path, not by accident but by preparation, would mark the beginning of a new chapter. One where the future of British racing excellence is forged not in silver or papaya but in red. And for Bearman, who's kept his head down and let his performance do the talking, that opportunity may finally be coming into focus. Ferrari is facing a familiar problem but with far higher stakes. They have Lewis Hamilton under contract through 2026, but no clear succession plan beyond that. And in Formula One, you don't wait until the contract expires to think about the next step. You build it early. You nurture it quietly. That's where Oliver Bearman comes in. He's not knocking on the door. He's already inside the house, studying the walls, learning the systems, and preparing for his moment. The challenge is balance. How do you honor one of the greatest drivers in history while preparing to replace him? Hamilton's impact on Ferrari goes beyond results. He's brought structure, focus, and credibility to a team that had drifted for years. His experience in car development, his racecraft under pressure, and his reputation across the grid have lifted every part of the operation. But Ferrari also knows that time is undefeated. And Hamilton himself has hinted that he may not race beyond this current deal. That's the dilemma. Ferrari cannot afford to be caught unprepared. Their past is full of transition failures, drivers leaving, rookies arriving too early, or long-term projects abandoned mid-season. This time, they want control. They want a succession. And Bearman, with his F2 pedigree and measured rise through the Ferrari Driver Academy, offers the first truly seamless option they've had in years. He's already integrated, already trusted, already performing under pressure. Look at the signals. Bearman has been embedded with the team across multiple race weekends. He's been handed increasing simulator responsibilities. His FP1 mileage has grown steadily. And in the paddock, Ferrari insiders speak of him not like a prospect but like a professional in waiting. That shift in language matters. It's not just about potential anymore. It's about preparation. Meanwhile, the rest of the driver market is swirling with uncertainty. Aston Martin may change direction post-Alonso. Mercedes is rebuilding around Russell. Red Bull's future beyond Verstappen is unclear. But Ferrari has a unique advantage: they've already built their future in-house. And Bearman, at just 20 years old, is proving that he doesn't need headlines to justify the faith. He just needs time, and now, perhaps, not much more of it. This is the real tension. Bearman is ready to step up. But the timing must be perfect. Ferrari cannot rush him. Nor can they wait too long and risk losing him to another team. And with Hamilton's future likely ending after 2026, the countdown isn't just on for the legend, it's on for the next chapter. And Bearman is already turning the first page. Inside Ferrari, the engineers don't talk about Bearman like a rookie, they talk about him like a tool. A sharp, efficient tool that responds to data with clarity and feedback with purpose. His brief race debut in Saudi Arabia back in 2024 wasn't just about track position. It was about telemetry, about consistency, about observing how a young driver handles a 20-lap stint on worn tires while managing fuel, brakes, and battery, all while under pressure from seasoned veterans. Bearman passed the test not with flair, but with focus. That technical calmness is what sets him apart. Bearman doesn't chase lap times with aggression. He builds them with structure. He adapts to understeer rather than fighting it. He adjusts brake balance through a race instead of setting it once and hoping for the best. That kind of layered thinking is rare even among midfield drivers, let alone someone in his early 20s. And Ferrari knows that. In fact, that's precisely what they've been quietly nurturing behind the scenes. Lewis Hamilton's influence on Ferrari's engineering culture has been monumental. His feedback loops, simulator refinement, and development clarity have pushed Maranello's processes closer to what Mercedes perfected for a decade. But once he exits, someone has to inherit that culture. Not just the speed, the discipline, the communication, the analytical edge. Ferrari sees Bearman as that inheritor not because he's the fastest junior they've ever had, but because he's the most complete. Bearman doesn't overwhelm engineers. He guides them. In simulator sessions, he gives layered feedback with reference to corner profiles and tire states. He understands when aero balance changes by degrees, not by feel. That's the type of dialogue that allows engineers to refine a car's behavior across full race distances, not just during qualifying simulations. It's the kind of mindset that teams like Ferrari can build long-term development around. The timing couldn't be more critical. With new power unit regulations arriving in 2026, the car Bearman might inherit in 2027 will be a radically different machine. Teams need drivers who are not just reactive, but predictive. Drivers who can influence setup direction, tire models, energy recovery patterns, all in real time. Bearman, from all early signs, is wired for that. He doesn't need a dominant car to perform. He needs a structure that listens. And Ferrari is building exactly that. So while the outside world may still view Bearman as the kid who subbed in, Ferrari doesn't. They see a partner, a future captain, someone who can speak both the language of engineers and the rhythm of racing. And if Lewis Hamilton does decide to step away at the end of 2026, Ferrari won't be caught off guard. Because the next voice on the radio is already being trained to lead, and his name is Oliver Bearman. Replacing Lewis Hamilton at Ferrari won't just be a career step. It will be a global spotlight. A transfer of legacy that comes with pressure very few drivers in the world could handle. Hamilton's move to Ferrari reignited belief in Maranello. He brought with him not just 7 world titles, but the aura of a man who redefines expectation wherever he goes. To follow in those footsteps is not a job, it's a burden. One that only becomes an opportunity if the right driver is mentally prepared. That's what Ferrari is watching most closely. Not just Bearman's pace, but his temperament. They've seen it already in Jeddah, in Imola, and behind closed doors at Fiorano. The way he reacts to setbacks. The way he asks questions. The way he listens. Bearman's emotional bandwidth is remarkably wide for someone so young. He doesn't need to be told what pressure is. He already understands the rhythm of racing under it. That alone gives Ferrari a rare confidence. They're not just promoting a driver. They're preparing a successor. The stakes go beyond internal harmony. If Ferrari mishandles the post-Hamilton transition, they risk a regression in both culture and performance. The team has seen this movie before, the high of signing a legend followed by the chaos of finding the next anchor. But this time, they want to get ahead of the cycle. Bearman gives them a chance to do that, not reactively, but intentionally. He isn't a plug-in replacement. He's been tailored, tested, and tuned for this exact scenario. And from Bearman's side, this moment is about more than just a promotion. It's about identity. After years of being seen as a promising junior, he's now approaching the edge of something far greater. Not just driving in Formula One, but representing Ferrari in Formula One. That badge carries history, responsibility, weight, and yet Bearman doesn't flinch. He's not overwhelmed by the idea. He's quietly motivated by it. That's not hype. That's character. If Hamilton does step aside after 2026, as many expect, the transition will mark the end of one of F1's most powerful modern storylines. But what follows could be equally compelling. A generational handover. From the most successful British driver in history to the next great British hope. It wouldn't be a demotion in prestige. It would be a continuity of excellence. And for Ferrari, that's a rare opportunity to manage change without collapse. So the consequence is clear: Ferrari must get this right. They must support Hamilton through his final chapter and simultaneously prepare Bearman for his first. Because one seat, one legacy, and one team's future are all about to collide. And in the middle of it stands a young man from Chelmsford who may soon carry more than a race suit with a prancing horse. He may carry the weight of the next era.